Hello, I want to welcome you to the course English for e-business. This is for level intermediate, and today we're going to see session 7, that it is planning a visit to a trade fair. Have you ever been to a trade fair? Go to a trade fair? While you think about it, I want to let you know that this session is part of Unit 2, that it is the suppliers, and your teacher, Liliana Quipuzco. So, first, we're going to see, as every week, the course considerations. First, you must speak English during the entire conference. In case that you are not able to, in this case, write in English, you can make it on Spanish, but try to use as much English as you can. Second, you can ask questions during the course of the conference. Um, Remember that when you ask me, you can put your question just on the group chat, and after we finish the first part, I will try to make some time to answer your questions. And third, I would appreciate you sharing your anecdotes, experiences, and maybe any kind of problems that you have right now. So that are related to the subject that we're going to see today, in this case to the trade fair, in order to help you or just comment what's happening, and maybe we can learn a little bit more about you. And finally, at the end of each session, we will have an exam with multiple choice questions. In this case, we will have four alternatives. Remember that I will give you a link at the end that has, it is an exam and a survey at the same time. You will need to put your personal information first, then you're going to have the questions from today's lesson, from today's session, and at the end, you're going to have some questions that are, in this case, is a survey that you're going to let us know how the class was. Okay, so now we're going to start. We said we talk about a trade fair, but what is a trade fair? Have you ever heard about trade fair? So in this case, according to Cambridge Dictionary, a trade fair is a large event at which many companies show and sell their products. It could be not only products, but it could be, we could talk about services too. And in this case, what they are trying to do is to increase their business. So they will try to get more clients. Okay. Remember that again, um, fair trades. We give me one second. Okay. When we talk about trade fairs, we talk about usually high, large events. So are not going to be just with just two or three companies, but we are talking about events that that have more than 50 companies in there. In other countries, there are, in here, usually in Peru, we have trade fairs at the Costa Verde. Maybe you Maybe you remember that in Costa Verde, like in Magdalena, we should have trade fairs, and we also have trade fairs in Jockey Plaza. Now, in other countries, the space, the location for trade fairs are pretty huge. For example, in Stuttgart, in Germany, in the city of Stuttgart, they have special buildings for trade fairs that are just there waiting for just the companies to put their products and their tables and their scenarios for the trade fair. And they usually tend to be next to the airport. Why? Because in other countries it's more common for to expect international visitors than local visitors. So they put it next to the airport, so it is easier for the visitors to just go just exit the airport, go to the hotel that is next to the airport, leave their bags, and just go straight to the trade fair location. In this case, to the special location, the trade fair buildings. So you don't have to spend that much in transportation, and it is especially thinking. It is especially think for people that are just going to do business, not tourism. Now, according to Oxford Dictionary, a trade fair is an exhibition at which businesses in a particular industry promote their products and services. So, between Cambridge Dictionary and Oxford Dictionary, a trade fair is a large event, a large exhibition where businesses sell and promote their products and services. And it usually tends to be separated by a particular industry. So we will have a trade fair, let's say it would be just a trade fair for mine products or for mine suppliers. It could be a trade fair used for, let's say, for clothes. In this case, we have little more, for example. So it is for particular industries, especially are divided for particular industries. So now, what to do when planning to visit to a trade fair? For example, we must first ask ourselves why. So in this case, why are we going to trade fair? Are we going to check new products? Are we going to buy? Especially we are going to buy products, not to check on them how were the new products, or just especially to buy them, or are we just going to visit and just look around, or just look around in this case, or visit the in this case. Can you hear me? Yes, right? Or I think my audio got cut. Can you hear me? Okay, so now I can see here my. Okay, so now I think you can hear me. Okay, so we were talking why. In this case, where are you going to a trade fair? Are you going to check on new products? Just to check, let's say that you sell plastic products related to drinking water. So you have some old technology, and you are going just to check if there is any new technology, or are you going straight to buy products that you already know that are on the market? Or are you going just to visit? In this case, for visit, it means that you already have a supplier and you're going to the fair to visit, in this case, to visit your already, the suppliers that you already buy from. Okay? So this will be kind of the three potential um, reasons why you're going to the trade fair. Now, the other question is where? So, you're going to the trade fair, but where are you going? Are you going internationally, or are you going locally? Are you going just in Peru, in Lima, or are you going maybe to another city? Let's say you're going to Arequipa, or are you going internationally? If we're talking about internationally, maybe you're going to Germany, or maybe you're going to China, the most common, the Canton Fair, for example. So you must decide on that. And how can you decide on that is what you need. What do you need? In this case, if you need someone that is very proud that needs to be on sharp with technology, the last technology. Maybe you might think about going international to offer abroad, and also not only what you need, but also how much can you pay. So if you have the money, you will be able to buy, to travel international, to go to a trade fair abroad. But if you don't have enough money, maybe you will just go to a local trade fair. Then we can talk about reservations. Um, in this case, if the trade is reserved, so is the trade reserved just for people that are from, in this case, this scenario, this industry, or is it allowed for everyone? So let's say if we're talking about a trade fair for, say, for medical stuff, for medical related stuff, it means that everyone is allowed to go into this trade fair, or just doctors, or just people that work for medical related, the medical industry. So you must know this in order to continue searching for your tickets, and maybe your plane tickets and the tickets for the fair, because if you're not allowed into the trade fair because you are not part of the industry, that will be a really really high red flag for you. And finally, when we're talking about where to go, we can talk about picking the days, especially if we're talking about the Canton Fair and other huge trade fairs abroad. It is not only 2 or 3 or 4 days as we usually have in Peru, but they have like 10 days of fair, and each couple of days they have two days for this industry, and 3 days for this industry, and 2 days for this other industry. So we have to pick the days that we are going to go, which are the days that we are going to go in order to buy the tickets. So we also must check, do we have to buy the tickets, or the tickets are free? For example, for trade fairs abroad, we usually have to buy tickets, but usually for local trade fairs, they tend to be free, especially if they are for, let's say, I've, I've come to the mine related fair, and it was for free. But there are other ones that you have to pay. For example, for Bruma you have to pay, and also for the Expo Alimentaria you also have to pay. So you must be aware of that. You have to search on the internet. Then we can talk about a translator. Will you need a translator? In this case, if we are talking about a country that speaks Spanish, we wouldn't need a translator. If we are talking about a country that speaks English, in this case, maybe if we know English, we wouldn't need a translator. But if we don't speak a word of English, we might need a translator. If we are not comfortable, or we will be able to have an effective communication, we will need a translator. And another example will be if we are traveling, let's say, to a trade fair in China. In this case, we definitely will need a translator if we don't know a word of Chinese. Maybe we can know English, but especially if we are going to, you you might say that English in this case is like a universal language, but if we are going to a Chinese speaking country, we must bring a translator for that language, for that main language. It is what is recommended. And finally, we can talk about transportation. So, like I said to you at the beginning, in other countries, we have we have the trade fair locations that are near to the airport. But let's say, for example, in here in Lima, if we're talking about going to a trade fair in Costa Verde, we have to make, let's say, a reservation for transportation, in this case, a taxi, or we must hire. uh, we must hire an automobile or just get money from the company to put gas on our car to go there. So we must check those details. And then we have the who. Who am I going to plan to visit your trade fair? In this case, we can talk about check the exhibitors list. When you go to the trade fair's website, you can check there who is going to be there, who are going to be the exhibitors. So you can see the companies, you can see the products, you can do a little more research online. And after this, you can just do a little list of your own where you put if you're going to go to visit this exhibitor A, B, and C, so you know where they are. They usually not only have the exhibitor list, but they also have the map. So in this map, you will be able to easily find where each exhibitor or each supplier is located. Then we can talk about letting our supplier or client know. Remember that in trade fairs, we not only have suppliers, the suppliers are not the only ones that buy for space on a trade fair, but also some clients, and in this case, medium to large clients, um, are the ones who buy spaces so they can do a little promotion to themselves. So if you have a supplier or a client of your own company that is going to be on a trade fair that you're going to go, maybe you can let them know that you are going. So maybe you can get a meeting, talk about maybe reducing prices, or just make some get in touch again and talk a little bit about businesses. It will be good. And finally, set goals. This is very important. When you're going to a trade fair, it is really important for you to set goals. What do you expect from the trade fair? Are you going just to check on it, or are you planning to go and get quotes? Let's say I'm planning to go and my goal is to get 6 quotes for this product, or I'm going and I'm planning my goal is to get this price for this product. So you have to set your goals so you can go with just an objective in your mind and get the most of this fair. Okay, now we're going to see some do and don'ts on planning a visit to a trade fair. For example, what you what you must do when you go to a trade fair is to set objectives. In this case, to visit the trade fair, to visit your client and potential clients or suppliers, to collect business cards from the people from the stands that you go to, collect brochures, collect flyers, so you can get all the information from the companies and also the products that they sell. Also, a really good do is to do a registration. In this case, pre-registration. So it means that you're going to go online and you're going to register yourself and your company or the people that is going to with you to the fair. Why? Because in this case you're going to avoid some queue. You will not have to hold and wait online to get in. So usually when you go into a fair on the first on the greeting space, on the first space, you're going to have one line that is for people that are already registered. That is really short, and the other one is for people that wasn't registered and they are paying for their fees and their tickets. So that um, queue tends to be a little longer. So it's better if you register on time beforehand. Also remember that if you tend to register beforehand, there there's a higher chance for some trade fairs uh, that you might not pay any kind of tickets if you register beforehand. On the other hand, if you go on the same day, there's more there's a higher chance for you to be paying a fee. In this case, paying a price for a ticket in order to get into the fair. Then another do is to give yourself time. In this case, it means for you to plan what you're going to do, but not only plan and schedule your meetings, but also take and in this case put into your if you have on a schedule, put into this schedule some time for unscheduled meetings. Maybe you had a mind to visit for potential suppliers, but you find two more that you didn't get to see or it didn't got your attention on the exhibit list, but now that you are there, they really got your attention. So give yourself give yourself time in order to see them, and to be able to talk to these people. Also, not only if you're talking about um, going or talking to potential suppliers that we didn't schedule before time, but also maybe if we just run into an actual a supplier that we're working right now, or maybe if we run into a friend or into a competitor that it is a friendly competitor, and we get just some time, we are going to get just some time, give ourselves some time in order to speak to them, to see them what they think about the fair. Maybe if they can give us some tips, or if they saw something that it was really interesting and maybe we might be interested in too. Then another do is to take advantage of everything. It means that especially if you're paying for a fee, or if you're lucky enough to not pay for a fee and have all the services, take a look at what the trade fair offers. For example, they tend to offer conferences, seminars, and they also tend to offer some other services. For example, not just conference and seminars, but also they have, let's say, some, I don't know, I've seen like some concerts, so you can listen to music and relax a little bit, or some culture typical dances. For example, if you're going to another country, so it will be like a really nice break for you to free your mind and have a good time too. Also, we are not talking only about having a good time, but we are only talking about conferences and seminars, especially for you to learn something new, not just going to see a supplier, but to learn something from a professional that is preparing, um, in this case, the topic to talk a topic to talk about. Usually, conference and seminars inside a trade fair, um, you have usually you have to pay for conference and seminars inside a trade fair, especially if you get a free ticket. But if you pay a fee, it's most likely, not always, but it's most likely that you will get a free access to the conference and seminars. So just go into the website and take a look at everything that the trade fair offers and what you are able to take advantage of with the ticket that you have. That's a good tip. And finally, a final do is to be open. If you have any kind of problem with your company, in this case, if you have a problem with a product that you're trying to find a solution, be open to go into your potential suppliers or potential clients to talk about these problems that you have and listen to new solutions, because you're going to be talking to people that are not from your company, that are from other companies that have another vision. Maybe they are from another country, so they will have other way of thinking that might help you find a solution for your problem. So just be open and listen to people. Now, talking about don'ts, I really think that we must not do on trade fair is to visit too quickly, to go in and try to do everything as fast as we can so we can go get back to our hotel room to take rest, or just go home and be with our family. No, always take your time. Allow more. then 1 day is necessary. Like I told you, usually trade fairs take 3 to 4 days. If they're really, really big fairs like the Canton Fair, it takes more days, especially depending on the industry that you're interested in. But allow more than 1 day. If you were already, let's say, visiting this fair for 8 hours and you still haven't finished your goals, take one extra day. That's okay. It is better for you to take your time and do things on the right way than just go really, really quickly. And then when you get to your office or to your house, just to see that this meeting and this travel, especially if you're traveling internationally, was not good and you didn't get the information that you needed, and you will be wasting a really great opportunity to make new contact with new suppliers and potential clients. Then another don't is to only focus in determined businesses. Let's say that we know that we just want to focus on company A, on company B, and company C. They're the largest ones. So don't do that. Consider some startups that are really small companies that are new, and consider some less known companies, because it means that there might be a higher chance that these companies will have a price that is cheaper than a large company. And we are not talking only about price, but we can talk also about solutions, new solutions, because usually startups are founded by young people that are just out of the university, and they have a fresh mind, and they have easy access to technology, so they come up with creative ideas that old companies with old managers that they are stuck on the old way on how to fix problems. So don't focus on only one, two, or three businesses. Consider new businesses. Just take a look, go around, and see if you find something that you like. Another don't is to book many meetings. If you have a day, if you're planning an 8 hour day, um, you're planning meetings, use 15-minute time, 15 minutes meetings. That would be bad, because you will not be able to talk, uh, to get maybe to get good prices, or to get to know people in just 10 or 15 minutes. Now, it will depend on how you work with your company and how you do it, but usually companies take from 15 to 30 minutes. But in order to do this, don't book too many meetings, because if you book too many, you will not be able to finish them on 1 day or 2 days, or the kind of days that you um, plan to visit the fair. So try to book just the amount of meetings that you will be maybe having time to talk, to get to the point that you want, and some more time for unscheduled talking or unscheduled meetings, like we say earlier. Then another don't is to be afraid of being exhibitors. In this case, the exhibitors that are really pushy and they like to sell, and they like put pressure on you to sell to you right now and to sign a contract. Don't be afraid to them. Just if you're afraid to them, or if you run into them, just be relaxed, and what you can do is to mention that, oh hi, excuse me, I cannot talk to you right now. I cannot keep talking to you right now, because I have a pre-arranged meeting and have to go there right now. So maybe just give me your business card and I will call you, or I will be back later. So to mention a pre-arranged meeting, it will be a nice way of getting away from king exhibitors, of pushy exhibitors, if we are uncomfortable around them. And finally, another don't is to waste information gatherer. If you go to a trade fair and you get business cards, and you get flyers, and you get brochures, and you get samples, and you get some other kind of information from the companies. When you get to your hotel or when you go back to your house or to your office, check this material that you gather. Check this material, separate the material from types of company or from types of growth or however you like to separate the material. Check it out. Find which are the companies that you would like to work with, which are the ones that you really don't want to work with, and follow up. Let's say I gather information from 20 companies, but I just made a selection of 3 companies that I would really like to get in touch with. So don't wait 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks to follow up and get in touch with them. Try to do it in the first 10 days. Send an email, send a message, give a call, and say, hey, how are you? Let's say I'm Liliana Quipuzco from the trade fair in Peru. Do you remember? I would like to talk about this road that you offer me. Maybe you can give me a better price, and maybe we can talk about working together, making some contracts in the future. So try to follow up, like let's say the day from the same day or the next day up until 10 days so they don't forget about you. They usually tend to do this follow up on the same day. So they go to the fair and at the night or hours after they do follow up in order to get more information. This is especially when you're talking to international suppliers. Let's say that if you're talking to a potential supplier from China and you're here in Peru and the trade fair was here in Peru, so you see them today in the morning and maybe you can send them an email on the afternoon or at night so they can say to you, hey, how are you? I'm going to be in Peru for 2 extra days after the trade fair. So maybe we can get together and we can talk about prices, or I can go to your offices, or you can go to my clients' offices, so you can check my code, how the competitors are working with my codes, if the competitor allow him or her to do that, and that would be great. And you have to take advantage of this, especially if we're talking about international suppliers, because if they are from China and they are here just 1 week a year, and you wait 5 weeks after, you won't be able to see them again. So you won't be able to talk to face again. And the most effective uh, communication closing a deal in general is when you do it face to face because there's more confidence between the people that are doing the contract. So try to do a follow up as soon as you can. Especially like I told you, if it's an international supplier, try to do it on the same day. If it's locally, maybe you can wait a couple of days. And finally, um, we have some questions that you must ask yourself and answer before you go to a trade fair. And the questions are following. These are, why am I participating on this show? Am I going to this show because I really want information, or I really need this information on this road, or I just want to go and look around and see what's new? Then you can ask yourself, am I organized for the show? Do I have a plan? Have I scheduled some meetings? If I am not, maybe I should not go to a fair because I'm not prepared for it. After this, you must ask yourself, how much time will I need? Will I need to go just 1 day, 2 days, 1 week? For you in this case, for you to know how much time you will need, it means that you will know how much time you will be absent from your work, and this is very important because it means that you will have to let your work waiting for you until you come back, or just delegate to other people. Another question that you should ask yourself is, should I bring material of my company, like business cards, brochure flyers, etc.? In this case, usually the answer is yes. Even though if you're going as a visitor, you should bring the material of your company so you can give your business card, brochures, flyers, or any other material to the potential clients or suppliers in this case. Another question is, am I familiar with the whole city and venue? In this case, if I am in another country, am I familiar with the whole city, or do I have to check if it is dangerous or how to get there? It is also for the venue. Maybe I know the city, I know Lima because I live here, but am I familiar with Costa Verde? Do I know how to get there? Do I know where to park? So I have to check this. If I am not, I must go into the internet and check it and check how to do it, or how to, in this case, be comfortable in there and know how to get to it, how to get there. Then another question is, have I backed up my presence through social media? In this case, um, if I have a Facebook and I am a company that sells plastic products, let's say, have I put on my Facebook that I am going to go to this fair or not? Should I do it so my potential suppliers know that I'm going to be present? And the final question that you must ask yourself is, do I have a post-show plan? So am I going to do the follow-up right on the same day, or am I going to wait for 1 week? In this case, I have to know if I have a post-show plan, that's okay, I have to go. But either if I don't have a post-show plan, maybe I have to think twice and see if I really have to go there to the trade fair, or maybe I should wait for the next year or the next trade fair to be more organized. Now, finally, we're going to see two websites that are for checking first, in this case, the um, schedule of fairs in Peru and also internationally. In this case, one is periferias.pe. I'm not going to share to you right now my screen. This is periferias, and in here, okay, so this is periferias, and in here we can just put our information to get some news, and on the bottom we can see the schedule, so we can see by the year and by the month. So in February we don't have anything, on March we don't have events. Let's see on April. So it looks like we don't have, or in this case, the the company didn't updated their trade agenda um, already. But okay, so if we check 2018, we can check that there was some first Aero Expo, Congreso Panamericano, Drum Expo. It looks like right now on 2019 they didn't update their fair, so we must just keep an eye on it and be careful with it. And the other one is mferias.com. So it's mferias.com. This is the other one. We're going to click it in here, and in here we can check by by the sector, by the country, by the city, and the schedule. Let's say we're going to check by country. So we click on country, and we can click in here the country. Let's say Germany. So we click, and in here on the bottom we can continue to click on cities and sectors. But if we just go from Germany, we're going to see here all the trade fairs that are going to be taken on Germany, and we can see the sector, the place, the address, and the time. So this is a very good, this is a very important and a very good, a very nice tool. Also, like I told you, we can go to the main website and we can check by the calendar. In this case, right? Okay. So now we have in here the year. So we can click on, right now we are on February, so we're going to check March 2019. So we can see here that it's going to be a mic motion, a concert at the baby show in London, Scholar, and some other uh, trade fairs that are going to be taken on March. And finally, we can check it by sector. So in this case, let's say that we're going to see fashion. So for fashion, we can see that we have the Berlin, the Munich Travel Star, the White Snow, the women interactor. So we can check in here all the dates, and if we click on them, we're going to see more information like the place, the address. So this is a very nice tool to find where the trade fairs are going to be taken. The places, the time, and the addresses, not just the countries and the cities. So this is how we can check. These are two websites where we can check the trade fairs that are going to be taken locally and internationally. And finally, I'm going to leave you the, the references. You can check in here where we took all the information from. And I'm going to give you the link for the exam and survey like we said. So this is the link. Remember that I always recommend to you to check the video again so you can refresh your memory a little bit before taking the exam, and you can let us know also how the class went, if it was good, if you think the information was well, so we can continue to improve. And finally, I want to thank you for your attention. I hope that you learn a little bit more, a little bit today. Remember that this was session 7, learning the visit to a tracer, and your teacher Liliana Quipuzco, and I hope to see you next week. Okay, take care. Bye bye.